Difficult. I can't imagine how it must feel as a 13-year-old to be forced to go to another country and then forced to marry somebody. Your parents forcing you to marry somebody.
Yeah, my mother took me over to Pakistan, and it was scary. It was very, very scary. Now, 25 years later, it's people have started listening, and things are being put in place to support the victims of forced marriage, but there is no prevention mechanisms in place, and I think we've got to make sure that there are prevention mechanisms in place as well.
So, because that's the problem, isn't it? I mean, you know, how would you have dealt with that, for example? I mean, even with this new organisation, it still wouldn't have stopped you being taken at 13 to Pakistan. You were a mum by the time you were 14, and then, you know, and your husband was abusing you, and then, of course, you discovered he was abusing your child, which is what eventually sorted you out, and you got back again.
You don't really, you know, not at the age of 13. You wouldn't pick up a phone and say, my parents are going to force me into marriage, because you wouldn't, you know, you don't want to say anything bad against your parents at that age. And so it's only later on, after the forced marriage, you feel brave enough to pick up a phone line. And
so when you're talking about prevention, what are you talking about? Are you talking about educating?
I'm talking
education.
I'm talking about education. I'm talking about the services not letting children down anymore, because I disappeared from school when I was 12 years old, and nobody found me. Nobody even noticed I'd gone, and so I was in hospital at 14, giving birth to a baby boy, and none of the hospitals asked, why are you a mum at 14? And so it's services really asking the right questions. It's also schools and hospitals.
And also, I mean, in your case, as in so many other cases, you know, there was also the added complication. That's not an understatement. And when you actually came home and said, you know, I'm sorry, I'm not putting up with this any longer, is that your brother actually
tried to kidnap me.
Tried to kidnap you? Yes, exactly.
He sent some people down to try and kidnap me, and that is the fear in most of the girls' minds, the fear of either being killed or being kidnapped and sent back to Pakistan. And so, you know, you have to be a very brave person to escape a forced marriage. However, if services picked it up in the first place and made it a normal issue, then I think it would disappear.
Well, it's about time, isn't it? I mean, I was staggered. 250 girls in Bradford alone taken off the school register last year because they failed to return from trips abroad, and many of them suspected of being victims of forced marriages. I know we're going to talk a bit later on, but thank you very much for the moment, M.E.N.